Released in 2020, 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, directed by Christopher Nolan and a runtime of 2 hours and 30 minutes, and made 0 sense at all. Can you guess the film? This is Cinema Insider, and today we are talking about Tenet. Tenet is a bad film, but I can't stop thinking about it. This film for some is annoying, ambitious, and most of the time just flat out so confusing that even the actors didn't get it.
Inverted time stuff happening.
Apparently, Robert, you still don't get it. Do you get Tenet?
I think I did get it more than I realized.
Last time I read the script, it took me 4 hours to read it.
You know, it's not even a question of getting everything or even anything.
So today I thought it would be super fun to dissect this film, and I thought it would be cool to start with the bads of the film. Now, I know each and every film is its own animal with its own take on the genre, tonal quirks, and artistic and intellectual aspirations. But this film, I mean, what was this? Now, before we get into the weeds of why I'm so frustrated with the story itself, I'd like to start off with some of the technical issues and inconsistencies that I noticed and really, I thought, compromised the movie. First, what's up with their audio? I couldn't hear half of the audio in the film.
Each vault a separate structure within the others. Damage to one structure won't compromise the other.
The Mystic 241. Surface at the upper house, the Shakia on the 14th.
Well, we better put our hat home before the bomb goes off, eh?
Now, this could have been a creative choice for Christopher Nolan, and I say this because if we do look at Interstellar and Batman: The Dark Knight Rises, we see similar audio choices.
This little maneuver is gonna cost us 51 years.
You don't sound so bad for pushing 120.
We come here not as conquerors, but as liberators to return control of this city to the people.
But still, Tenet is in a league of its own, because we literally can't make out entire scenes of dialogue. And we're not just talking about dialogue in the middle of combat like with Dunkirk, where spotty dialogue could be forgiven for the sake of realism. You have scenes of dialogue in a cafe or lab where there shouldn't be any ambient noises from the environment to make it this hazy.
Aim it and pull the trigger.
It's empty.
Aim it.
Add in that most of these scenes are also straight exposition on the mechanics of the world, and it's a constant roadblock to your understanding and enjoyment of the film. Sidebar, what's up with Christopher Nolan bringing in Michael Caine in every one of his movies as the guy who does all the expositions of the films? Anyways, on to the next negative technical aspect in my opinion, and that's the editing. They had a lot of inaccurate and inconsistent cuts that, as an editor myself, really bothered me. For example, look at this scene of the protagonist and Neil in the back of the ambulance. See, if you look closely, Neil takes his gloves off 2 times, which is in fact a mistake that the editor made while cutting this scene. Now, this could be considered a small mistake that comes and goes and won't ruin the audience's suspension of disbelief. However, it doesn't stop there, because if we move to the end of the movie, while the red and blue team are being given their briefing, Neil is wearing the mask that allows him to breathe, but in the next scene, he isn't wearing it anymore, which is a bigger issue than taking off a pair of gloves twice, because this mistake affects the actual story's theory. Also, in the same scene, we have a very fast-paced back and forth between the two teams being debriefed, and if we aren't paying super close attention, we can miss this important part, and really that's the main problem. This film is pointlessly confusing. If you were to tell me to explain this movie in less than 5 minutes, I wouldn't know where to start. Now, to clarify, I don't think it's bad if a movie requires multiple viewings to fully enjoy it, especially Christopher Nolan films. I mean, I had to watch Inception like 3 times to fully grasp every detail. And that is typically Nolan's goal in all of his films, to give you a new experience the second time you watch it. And when you do finally come to understand the film, it's super rewarding and makes you want more. In Interstellar, when you realize that Cooper was in the 5th dimension, or in Prestige, when you realize that Christian Bale was playing twins the whole time. Nolan wants to recontextualize the movie by the 3rd act reveal. But Tenet? This movie doesn't reward you for trying to understand it. It just curses you with a never-ending amount of questions. Why is an inverted bullet more dangerous than a normal bullet? What is the point of the rule that he can't touch himself? Why is he trying to shoot himself? If the universe ends if you touch yourself, how can that suit prevent him when he's straight up fighting himself? Why did the people from the future send their technology to him when he's clearly unstable? How did they not know that when they seem to know everything else about him? Why did this global warming plot point come out of nowhere? Why is the protagonist called protagonist? What is his character arc? Why did he suddenly become so emotionally invested in Kat that he risks everything for her? If Neil is from the future, then he knows all about this, so why did he continue to chase after the future protagonist and still be surprised surprised when he finds out it's him. If whatever happens happens, meaning that there's already a distant future that cannot be changed, that means that them attempting to prevent the future events from happening can't happen because it's technically never happened. But it does still happen, so the film's definition of whatever happens happens contradicts its original intended philosophy. This film doesn't reward you by watching it. It punishes you. And I think I know why. Unlike other Nolan movies, he made this one sophisticatedly vague for people to watch this movie and not think, but feel the film. See, on the surface, there's a lot of sophistication and so-called depth to this movie. But the more you break down this film and the more you think about it, the more cracks, inconsistencies, and plot holes you find. But if you watch this film for the first time and just enjoy it and feel it,
Don't try to understand it. Feel it.
without trying so hard to understand it, it actually ends with you feeling good because the logic in the film is even presented by feeling. Now, I don't want to be that guy, but of course, still Tenet contradicts itself here again because he doesn't try to feel time inversion, but he actually tries to understand it throughout the whole film, even though Christopher Nolan made it clear you can't understand, but you have to feel it. It's a mess. This movie is making less and less sense even as I'm writing this script. Now, if you want to see more about the bads of this film and how Nolan failed miserably, I recommend checking out YouTuber and video editor's channel, Hiller Smith. But for now, let's talk about what I found to be good in this film. And don't worry, the list is small. I did really like the idea of the film, time inversion. See, this isn't a time travel film. It more covers the way time works and how it can function. Time inversion, the idea where material has had its entropy inverted, so it's running backwards in time relative to us. That is a concept is nothing I've ever experienced or thought about ever seeing on screen, and because of it, it has incredible potential. The other thing I consider to be good of this film is that at the end of the day, if you watch this without trying to understand it, it's actually a pretty entertaining movie. Yet that is a very opinionated pro on my part. Anyways, that's it for me. As I said, the list of pros were short in this video on this specific movie. But if you guys have a different take on this movie and can patch up some of those plot holes that I found and mentioned in this video, I would love it if you commented them below or go join our free Discord group and let's chat more about this pointlessly confusing film. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you did enjoy this video, feel free to check out other links linked below, like one of my favorite videos that we've done so far on Thor's story arc, and I would highly appreciate it if you guys helped us jumpstart this relatively new channel by hitting that subscribe button and leaving a like below. That is it for me today, and I will see you guys in the next one.